Hello and a very warm welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Global TV's news cycle, live in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. I am Judith Peters. On the news, stakeholders in the health sector on Wednesday emphasized the need for intensive vaccination drive. The call was made in Abuja during the third quarter review meeting of Northern Traditional Leaders Committee on PHC Delivery, organized by the Federal Ministry of Health in collaboration with National Primary Healthcare Development Agency. Sharon Aji was at the event for Global TV. Now brings us details.
Dr. Pate commended the Northern leaders on behalf of the federal government on their effort to eradicate wild polio virus and the commitment to improving the lives of people across the country over a 12-year period, with evidence of only a tiny minority of children living with polio.
We're here to reflect on the progress that has been made, and the Chief Executive of MPHCD articulated some of those important progress that we have accomplished. We have made a lot of progress on the polio, on routine immunization, but there's still a lot of things that we need to do going forward, including the residues of circulating mutant polio virus in at least some of our states, particularly in Zamfara State, in part of it, but also in part of Sokoto State, which we are going deeper to deal with. There are areas of our country where children still are missed, that have 0 dose. I think those are also an area that we will continue to explore how we can double down, and your support in that direction will be very helpful.
The Health Minister, however, acknowledged that there is more work that needs to be done, saying this is only a phase of the movement as more impact is required, particularly in states where children have 0 dose of the vaccine. He assured that actions are being taken, all aimed at preventing the spread of the diphtheria outbreak around the 19 states where it has been detected.
98% of those who have diphtheria, the children that have diphtheria, have not been immunized. So in a way, we are finding an example of the power of vaccines to prevent the disease. So if those children had been vaccinated, they would not have had diphtheria. But we have to catch up. And as the ED mentioned, there is no discrimination because it spreads from one person to the other. So we are committed as government to bring it under control. That is why I set up an emergency task force led by the Executive Director of MPHCD and the Director General of Nigeria Center for Disease Control and our partners to aggressively work with the state government.
On his part, the Sultan of Sokoto, Sa'ad Abubakar, appreciated effort geared at facilitating the effective administration of the vaccine all over Nigeria. He extended his gratitude to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation as well as Aliko Dangote for their immense contribution.
So I think it was in March 2009 when Bill Gates flew into Sokoto to see me, because he had the wonderful job we did in the first 1 year of this committee. They couldn't believe within 1 year there is a drastic reduction of polio cases in Nigeria. So they wanted to see how we do it. The rest is history. But from that March 2009 to now, Bill Gates never been back. And that's why at all times, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation are always there with us, helping us, supporting us, ensuring that we get funds to do our jobs.
Sharon Aji reporting for Global TV News.
The Nigeria Senate has directed 5 of its committees to commence investigation into oil theft and its impact on petroleum production and oil revenues in the country. Kikelamo Okere reports that the committees, which were given the mandate on the floor of plenary, include petroleum upstream, downstream, gas, Niger Delta, and that in charge of host communities.
The resolution was reached after the debate on a motion sponsored by Senator Ned Nwoko and 2 others. In his debate, Senator Nwoko noted that in March 2023, Nigeria lost over 65 crude oil valued at $83 per barrel, translating to revenue loss of 2.3 trillion naira as a result of oil theft.
The motion is for urgent need to investigate the incessant and nefarious acts of crude oil thefts in the Niger Delta and the actors. In March 2023, Nigeria incurred a substantial loss of 65.7 million barrels of crude oil valued at $83 per barrel, translating to a staggering revenue loss of 2.3 trillion as a result of oil theft.
Contributing to the debate, other lawmakers highlighted the need to address the issue of oil theft and its attendant consequences on the environment and economy of Nigeria.
What I would suggest is not for us to continue to lament or set up inquiries. My suggestion, Mr. President, is that given the seriousness of this situation, and I will dare say before the new government, each agent gets sucked into the tradition, this is the time to stop it.
In supporting this motion, if you look at it, there are a lot of salient points he made. He said the bunkering started in 1970. We are in 2023 now, which means that's 53 years ago. Up till now, we've not been able to solve it. He said 2.3 trillion is being stolen every year. That's a lot of money. How much is even the budget of Nigeria? The biggest problem we have in this country, Mr. President, is punitive measure. All these things that are allowed to eat. A colleague of mine now was contributing. He even said at his backyard, he has been arresting people who are bunkering, doing bunkering at his backyard, but nothing has happened.
In his remark, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, who also alluded to the issues raised by the colleagues, urged the investigative panel to come up with a lasting solution.
Into the actions of security forces, militia groups, the local populace, oil company employees, and any individual or entities suspected to be using sophisticated methods to pilfer our oil resources from the oil facilities within our country. Those in support of the prayer won't say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
The committee were given 6 weeks to conclude work on investigation and report back to the plenary. Kike Lomo Ukeri, Global Television News, Abuja.
Minister of Works David Umahi says President Bola Tinubu has approved all the proposed interventions for the rehabilitation of the East-West Road. Umahi disclosed this after a closed-door meeting with President Bola Tinubu at the presidential villa in Abuja. He noted that his administration will flush out elements within the government causing delays in road development across the country. Uyi Agbamofoegbe has details.
According to the minister, the president also gave approval for the consultants, engineers, and a task force to be on every site from Lokoja to Benin, Warri, Cross River, and other parts of Nigeria to monitor the progress and quality of construction being carried out by contractors.
There are some contractors that have 20 jobs and they have 2 equipment on site. It can no longer be the same. We have minimum requirement of equipment on site for a particular work. And if you don't have it, you will leave the site. Nobody can hold this country to ransom. Nobody. Our local contractors are advised to wake up.
The Works Minister also begged Nigerians and other stakeholders to join hands and support the initiative of the Renewed Hope administration to build roads using concrete rather than bitumen.
Why is it that when you bring bitumen here, you are putting modifier, enhancer, this and that? The question is, in overseas, do they put all these things? So why would you allow adulterated bitumen and then you come here, you say you are putting modifier, And we are witnesses that in the 50s, the road constructed on asphalt in the 50s were much more durable than what we witness today. So this is all that we are saying. We are not saying people should not, construct roads on asphalt. But if Nigerians are saying they should not have value for their money, the road should be continue to be constructed every year, the same road, then it's very unfortunate.
He warned that contractors who fail to comply with the alternative use of concrete pavements to build more friendly and durable roads across the country will have their contracts revoked. Citing the failure of asphalt, especially in the north central and entire southern parts of the country, Umahi added that the use of concrete pavement will make the roads last longer, curbing insecurity on highways, guarantee Nigerians more jobs, and boost economic activities across the nation. Uyi Agbamofoegbe, reporting for Global Television News.
As well, the Labour Party presidential candidate in the Nigeria 2023 election, Peter Obi, says President Bola Tinubu's lecturing certificate issue with the Chicago State University has further worsened the glorious image of Nigeria. Internationally addressing the journalists in Abuja, Obi asked President Tinubu to again tell Nigerians the school he attended if he participated in the one-year National Youth Service Corps. Sharon Ajay has details.
The Labour Party presidential candidate also called on President Tinubu to reintroduce himself to the nation and the world at large, rather than outsourcing that responsibility to political surrogates.
To the outsiders, the entire Chicago University matter, as well as Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu's many other lingering identity question marks, have further worsened Nigerian less than glorious image internationally. He should reintroduce himself to the nation he governs and to the world for avoidance of further doubt. He should let the world know his name, his nationality, his place of birth, his parentage, the primary and secondary school he attended with dates, as well as the actual universities he attended and certificates obtained. He should indicate clearly where and when he did his National Youth Service. In addition, if at any time he had a change of name, he should state so clearly and circumstance that his name itself is no crime. This is a simple task that will take only a few minutes. It requires no affidavit, prolonged court process, spokesperson, agents or surrogates. The task is one that only Chief Bola Tinubu himself, through a direct personal statement, can perform.
The former Anambra State governor maintains that having occupied the highest political office in the country, President Tinubu no longer has a right to any privacy regarding his identity.
In his present capacity as a leader of a nation of over 200 million Nigerians, his true identity is a matter of grave national and international interest. The people deserve to know with certainty the true identity of their leader, and this overrides whatever rights he may have to personal privacy.
It could be recalled that PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar has requested the release of President Tinubu's certificate from the Chicago State University over the suspicion that the certificate of the former Lagos State governor submitted to the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, may not be authentic. During a press conference last week after the president's academic records were released to him, the former vice president who is challenging Tinubu's election called on Obi, Rabiu Kwankwaso, and other Nigerians to join his quest for justice over the matter. Sharon Ajay reporting for Global TV News.
The Honorable Minister of Interior Olubunmi Tunji Ojo commissioned 15 rapid response firefighting vehicles and 6 heavy fighting trucks. The minister challenged officers and men of the service to roll their sleeves for work, stating that the era of work is now. In line with the renewed hope agenda of the president, he challenged authority of the fire service that their operations should go beyond firefighting, that the service must also forecast for impending fire, outbreak and other disaster. The minister stated this on Wednesday at the commissioning of the firefighting vehicles at the headquarters of Federal Fire Service Abuja. Tunji Ojo also implored the FFS that its fire institute would not only be personnel training alone, it must integrate training of fire rescuers who would be deployed to man commercial and public buildings to ensure compliance with fire safety mechanism. The Controller General of the Federal Fire Service, Engineer Jaji Olala Abdul Ganiyu, commended the minister for his visionary leadership and effort to modernize the services with a state-of-art equipment and data harmonization to raise the bar of internal security and citizenship integrity for Nigerians to have a sweet experience. As part of effort to ensure safety of lives and property of residents in the territory, the Nigeria police is partnering with the neighboring state to secure the nation's capital while parading some criminals arrested for various crimes ranging from murder and kidnapping to illegal possession of ammunition. The Force Public Relations Officer, Deputy Commissioner of Police, DCP Muyiwa Adejobi, says the police will not relent in addressing the rising cases of insecurity in the territory. Kikelamo Okere has details.
During the parade, DCP Adejobi explained that operations carried out so far by officers of the force have continued to yield positive results as 54 suspects were arrested, some of whom were already facing prosecution in court. He added that 92 firearms, 760 live ammunition, 14 vehicles, 1 RPG, among others items, were recovered.
Supposing that he wanted to have sex with the both of us. So we now proposed the car sex to him and he agreed, and the BDSM too, he agreed. He was even telling us already from the garden about how he was going to deal with us and everything when we get inside. Although we were not bothered because we knew we were not planning to have sex with him and we just wanted to take his cash and leave. So naked, and he got on the bed. Then I got on the bed with him. He allowed my friend tie his hand and tie his leg. He was even the one that raised up his leg for her to tie him. So after she tied his hand and his leg, based on the fact that we were in a room and not in a car, because normally we thought that if we want to have car sex with somebody, it cannot be in a public place that people can easily see or hear. But because it was in a room, so we were already thinking about what we're going to do, in case maybe he starts shouting or something. So
part of those paraded by Force PRO are 2 suspects, Adama Joy Joseph and Oreolua Davies, arrested for murder of Mr. Adeni Ojo in Kwara State. Also notably among those paraded who confessed to the crimes were 5 suspects connected to the kidnapping of a Swiss national, Diengo Tana, in Federal Capital Territory.
We asked him to pay us our salary. Me and my younger brother with the rest staff, we asked him to pay us our salary. Then he said that if he did not pay us our salary, are we not going to work? And all this kind of stuff. So I asked him and said, if the Nigerian man should try this in your country, you will behead him. And you are trying this in my own country. So he replied me and said, you want to behead me? So he left me, he went to work. I went to his brother, this man named Xian Jiawan, and told him to drive me and my brother away, that we the ones that used to tell the remaining staff not to go to work if we don't have our salary. Simply to no food. And I started thinking sometimes I should go hang myself, sometimes I should just go do all this ritualist of the thing, or do back and just make money for food and all those kind of stuff. My house rent is due and all those things. So I just said, instead of me to do that, it's better I just go make the man that made me lose everything, pay for this. That was when I started searching for those niggas, those guys.
On the issue of alleged rising cases of male organ disappearing in the Federal Capital Territory, Adejobi urged residents to rely on the police for proper investigation, as these claims cannot be substantiated. Kikelamo Okere, Global Television News.
The management of Kwara State Polytechnic has denied a dual suspect of Adama Joseph and Oreolua Davies, who were paraded by the Nigeria police for killing a club owner, Adeni Ojo, in a hotel situated in Lori, Kwara State. The institution's public relations officer, Ali Madgalber, on Thursday, the registrar said the suspects are not students of the Polytechnic. The statement partly read, "The management wishes to disclaim this discriminating and malicious news about the institution," stating that the suspect being paraded in Abuja by the Force PRO ACP Olamuyiwa Adejobi are students of Kwara State Polytechnic. The institution stressed that the suspects claimed that they were schooled at the Polytechnic is untrue, baseless, and a figment of their imagination, noting that the claims was intended to drag the name of the ever-peaceful institution into the mud. The registrar further urged all Polytechnic stakeholders and press members to verify anything tagged with the institution before circulating it. And now on the foreign scene, the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken vowed on Thursday that the United States will always back Israel, but said the Palestinians also had legitimate aspiration not represented by militant group Hamas. Paying a solidarity visit at Israel Hamas over weekend attacks that killed 1,200 people in Israel. Blinken also gave a new death toll for U.S. citizens, saying at least 25 were confirmed among the dead. President Joe Biden has vowed unwavering support for Israel and not called for restraint against Hamas, but Blinken hinted at the need for an eventual peace settlement, an idea that has long met resistance from the right-wing Netanyahu. Disgraced crypto maven Sam Bankman-Fried was the mastermind behind a scheme to defraud FTX clients of billions of dollars. The star witness is U.S. trial Caroline Ellison testified on Tuesday. Alison Bankman-Fried's former business partners and girlfriend said that they had stolen around $14 billion from clients of the cryptocurrency exchange platform before it collapsed into bankruptcy late last year. The 31-year-old Bankman-Fried, co-founder and former CEO of FTX, has been charged with 7 counts of fraud, embezzlement, and criminal conspiracy, and if convicted, could face a de facto life sentence of more than 100 years in prison. In November 2022, the platform imploded, unable to cope with massive withdrawal requests from customers panicked to learn that some of the FTX funds had been committed by risky operations by Alameda Research. Bankman-Fried's personal hedge fund, Ellison, was CEO at Alameda and has pleaded guilty to 2 counts of fraud charges and agreed to cooperate with the prosecution. Journalist Cheng Lin has returned home to Australia after more than 3 years of detention in China. She was met at the airport by the Foreign Minister Penny Wong, Australia's Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said. Announcing her release, Cheng Lin, 48, was working as a business reporter for China's state-run English-language TV station when she was arrested on 13th August 2020. She was later accused of illegally supplying state secrets overseas. Her charges were never made public. Cheng was freed as frosty relations between Canberra and Beijing appear to be thawing. Tensions between the two countries deepened during the pandemic, which led to a Chinese ban on Australia exports like barley, coal, and timber. Those blocks were lifted earlier this year, the first signs of a gradual easing of the diplomatic impasse. On Wednesday, following Cheng's release, Albanese said it would facilitate a trip to China at a mutually agreed time this year. He added that Ms. Cheng has been reunited with her 2 children in Melbourne. Another earthquake has hit western Afghanistan just days after 2 large quakes in the same region killed more than 1,000 people. The new 6.3 magnitude quake struck at around 5:10 local time on Wednesday, 28 kilometers north of Herat, killing at least 1 person. More than 100 were injured and taken to hospital. Health officials said UNICEF said more than 90% of those who died in this week's earthquake in Afghanistan were women and children. The wider impact of the latest quake is not yet clear, but many people were sleeping in the open after their homes were destroyed on Saturday. As well, the chief executive of the Nigeria Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, Farouk Ahmed, going with the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, to ease access to foreign exchange so that other marketers can import petrol into the country. This is as the NNPC has again averted to being the sole importer of petrol as the foreign exchange crisis persists. This is coming barely 5 months after the company said it would no longer be the sole importer of petrol into the country. The group chief executive Executive Officer of Nigeria Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, Mele Kyari, said yesterday foreign exchange issues have not allowed private companies to import petroleum products. According to Kyari, the NNPCL has once again become the sole importer of petrol since private companies cannot access foreign currency due to shortage issues. However, Farouk, who met with the representatives of oil marketers yesterday to resolve the challenges faced in the importation and smooth distribution of petroleum products in the country, said the internal restructuring going on the CBN, the situation will be resolved soon. And lastly, the exchange rate between the Naira and this is the news cycle coming to you live from the Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across our social media platform using a Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your TV screen. On behalf of the production team, I am Judith Peters. Thank you so very much for watching. I'll see you again.